As their ship descended through Renaissance Vector's atmosphere, Raoul and Aeneas were greeted by the breathtaking sight of the planet's famous floating gardens. Massive platforms of verdant life hung suspended in the golden-hued sky, connected by graceful bridges that seemed to be spun from spider silk. The local architects' guild, led by the enigmatic Master Chen, welcomed them with a peculiar mix of reverence and apprehension. That evening, during a feast held in one of the suspended pavilions, Aeneas' presence caused the anti-grav systems to fluctuate mysteriously, leading to moments of weightlessness that both delighted and terrified the guests. As silverware and wine goblets floated upward, Raoul noticed several guild members exchanging knowing glances, suggesting they knew more about Aeneas' true nature than they let on. Deep within the planet's architectural archives, Aeneas discovered ancient blueprints that seemed to pulse with their own inner light. The young teacher spent hours poring over these documents while Raoul stood guard, increasingly uneasy about the growing number of suspicious visitors to the normally quiet facility. A breakthrough came when Rachel, an apprentice archivist with burning amber eyes, revealed the existence of a hidden chamber beneath the main archive. The chamber contained evidence of a connection between the void which binds and the fundamental principles of architecture itself. However, their discovery didn't go unnoticed. The first signs of Pax presence appeared in the city, and mysterious accidents began plaguing those who spent time with Aeneas. Master Chen's true motives were revealed during a clandestine meeting in the resonance chamber, a room designed to amplify the harmonic frequencies of the universe. He offered Aeneas and Raoul access to a network of hidden portals throughout the planet, but at a price. Aeneas would need to share her knowledge of the void, which binds with selected members of the guild. As they deliberated, the chamber's crystalline walls began to sing with an otherworldly resonance, and Aeneas experienced a vision that left her shaking. Meanwhile, Raoul discovered evidence that someone within the guild had already contacted the Pax. With time running out and trust becoming a precious commodity, they had to decide quickly: accept Chen's offer and risk exposure, or flee and lose access to crucial architectural secrets. The decision was made more urgent by the arrival of a Pax cruiser in orbit, its presence a looming threat above the floating gardens. The crystalline spires of St. Anthony's Cathedral pierced the perpetual fog of Nevermore, casting long shadows across the ancient cobblestones. Rise of Endymion felt his heart race as he guided Aeneas through the labyrinthine back alleys, the echoing footsteps of Pax troops growing ever closer. The air was thick with the sweet scent of incense from nearby temples, mixing with the metallic tang of approaching thunderstorms. Father Captain de Sawyer's determination to capture them had reached new heights, with Swiss Guard dropships now appearing in every port they visited. As they ducked into a dimly lit sanctuary Sisori, Aeneas' hand trembled slightly in Raoul's grasp, not from fear, but from the weight of the visions that increasingly consumed her consciousness. The communion she shared with her followers was spreading faster than anyone had anticipated, and with it, the Church's desperate attempts to stop her grew more violent. Within the ancient walls of the Monastery of the Golden Light, Abetic's azure skin seemed to glow in the candlelight as he decoded the encrypted messages from their allies. Rachel's intelligence network had confirmed their worst fears. The Pax was now employing ouster technology to track the quantum signature of Aeneas' teachings. The monastery's thermal springs created a perpetual veil of steam that wound through its corridors like living tendrils, offering temporary sanctuary from the Church's scanning technologies. But time was running out. As Aeneas meditated in the Chamber of Whispers, her consciousness touching minds across light years, Raoul discovered a hidden chamber beneath the monastery's foundations. What they found there would change everything. Ancient artifacts that suggested the church had known about Aenea's coming for centuries and had been preparing for this moment long before she was born. The trap was sprung at dawn. Brother Gregorius, who had offered them shelter, stood with downcast eyes as Swiss Guard troops materialized from concealed portals throughout the monastery grounds. But Aenea smiled, having foreseen this moment. As chaos erupted, the very steam that had protected them became their weapon, superheated by Aebetic's carefully placed devices. Raoul fought with desperate grace, his years of training evident in every movement as he carved a path to freedom. Yet victory came at a terrible cost. Rachel's agents in 3 systems had gone silent, and the encrypted artifacts they discovered were lost in the confusion. As their small ship broke atmosphere, Aenea's eyes filled with tears not for their close escape, but for the choice she knew awaited her, a choice that would soon force her to leave behind everything and everyone she loved. As their ship touched down on the misty surface of Vitus Grey Balianus B, Aenea and Raoul could feel the weight of their mission growing heavier. The planet's 3 moons cast an ethereal glow through the perpetual fog, creating halos around the ancient stone structures that dotted the landscape. Here, in a forgotten monastery built by the first wave of settlers, Aenea began teaching her most profound lessons yet. The gathered crowd of seekers grew daily, drawn by whispered rumors of a young woman who could unlock the secrets of consciousness itself. Through the sharing of wine and bread, each participant experienced something beyond mere communion. They touched the void between spaces, felt the quantum truth that bound all living things together. Raoul watched in amazement as former Pax citizens, merchants, and even a few Reformed Church militants found their way to enlightenment, one shared meal at a time. The peace couldn't last forever. Father Captain de Sawyer's crusade ships were never far behind. Their presence felt like a dark cloud on the horizon. As Aenea's following grew, so did the Church's desperation to stop her message from spreading. On Patalfa, they barely escaped as Pax troops stormed through the underground caverns where they'd been teaching. The local resistance, led by the fierce Maria Chen, bought them precious time with clever deceptions and false trails. But each close call left its mark. Raoul noticed how Aenea's eyes grew darker with each hasty departure, how her shoulders seemed to carry an invisible burden that grew heavier with each world they visited. Yet still she taught, and still they came, those seeking truth in a universe of carefully constructed lies. Their final teaching session on New Madrid would forever haunt Raoul's memories. The desert world's twin suns had just begun their descent when the first signs of trouble appeared. Aenea had known they were coming. She always knew, but insisted on completing the communion ritual for the hundreds gathered in the ancient amphitheater carved into red rock. As the last person received their share of wine, the first explosion rocked the cliffs above. In the chaos that followed, Aenea's calm voice never wavered as she helped her students escape through long-forgotten tunnels beneath the amphitheater. But something had changed. That night, as their ship broke atmosphere, Aenea revealed to Raoul a vision that shook him to his core, a glimpse of sacrifice to come that would change the very fabric of human civilization. The question was no longer if they would be caught, but when, and at what cost would their message finally take root in the heart of humanity. As dawn broke over the crystalline spires of Pacem, Raoul Endymion felt the familiar tingle of danger crawling up his spine. The Pax forces had finally caught up with them on this remote world, where ancient ruins whispered secrets of forgotten civilizations. Through the morning fog, he could see Aenea teaching a small group of followers, her voice carrying the weight of prophecy. The peace was shattered by the distinctive hum of approaching dropships. The chase that followed through the labyrinthine streets of the abandoned city tested every skill Raoul had learned. Aenea's calm demeanor never wavered, even as energy bolts sizzled past their heads. Abai, their trusted companion, led them through hidden passages that seemed to defy physical laws, the ancient stones responding to his touch in ways that defied explanation. The Pax had prepared well this time. Cardinal Lardusami's strategic genius showed in the carefully laid trap that awaited them on Vitus Grey Balianus B. What began as a routine teaching session transformed into a desperate fight for survival when quantum phase shifts began isolating portions of the city. Aenea's abilities to perceive time's flow proved crucial as she guided their small group through the shifting reality matrices. The Swiss Guard's elite troops, led by the ruthless commander Radamanth Nemes, deployed their phase shift technology with deadly precision. It was only through the unexpected intervention of the ousters, their ships appearing like avenging angels through the planet's rings, that they managed to break free. The cost was high. Several of Aenea's students sacrificed themselves to buy time for her escape. The revelation came like a thunderbolt. Someone within their inner circle had been feeding information to the Pax. As Raoul and Aenea took refuge in the ancient forests of God's Grove, the identity of the traitor became clear. Rachel Chen, one of their most trusted allies, had been implanted with a cruciform against her will. The Pax had been using her as an unwitting beacon. The night they confronted her became a testament to both the cruelty of the Church and the compassion of Aenea. In a clearing bathed by the light of 3 moons, Aenea attempted something never before tried: the removal of a cruciform through her unique abilities. The process drew the attention of both Pax forces and the Technocore's observers, leading to a confrontation that would forever change the balance of power in their ongoing struggle. The chapter closes with Rachel's fate hanging in the balance and the sound of approaching Pax ships echoing through the ancient trees.
Thank you for venturing into this realm with me. If you crave more enchanted worlds, mythical battles, and secrets whispered from ancient pages, join the Guild of Storybound Explorers. Subscribe now and ring the bell to unlock every new quest the moment it drops. The next chapter awaits. Will you answer the call?